we're going to be looking at 10 giants that exist in real life. These people are either really huge in terms of their height or in terms of their muscles. But seriously though, some of these people legitimately look photoshopped, but I can guarantee that these people are 100% real. So please drop a like if you enjoy. Let's aim for 10,000 likes on this video and push the button to subscribe because it really does help me out. 10. Sajjad Gharibi. This guy is from Iran, and he got really famous on Instagram with over 200,000 followers. He's nicknamed the Iranian Giant because of his insane build. He's only 24 and weighs 24 stone, and 90% of that is pure muscle. I don't even know if that's good for you, but seriously, this guy is thick AF. I'm joking, but this guy is weirdly big. To show you how big he actually is, he usually poses with small objects to show how huge he is in comparison to them. It's called overcompensating. But anyway, this guy is really strong and can lift over 400 pounds. That's actually won him a lot of weightlifting competitions for Iran. If you guys didn't already think that Sajjad was a bit of a badass, then you should know that in 2016, he went off to Syria to fight ISIS. I mean, if I was in ISIS and saw this guy running towards me, I'd probably have to change all of my beliefs right there on the spot. Being squashed to death by this guy? I mean, I'm no expert, but it looks like his muscles could stop a bullet, maybe even a nuclear missile. In all seriousness, this guy is absolutely huge, and I have no idea why he wasn't picked to play the Incredible Hulk. Can you guys spot the difference? 9. Andre the Giant. This one is a little old, but he's probably the most famous giant of all time, so I had to include him on this list. Andre is from France and was one of the most famous wrestlers in the world. He was also an actor in a ton of movies. The reason this guy is so big is that he was diagnosed with gigantism due to excess hormones. Look at these photos! The people next to him aren't small, they're totally normal sized. He's just absolutely massive. To be honest, I think it's great that, even though he basically had a disability, he overcame it and became super famous. Who knows, maybe he inspired other giants to use their size to their advantage. Sadly, Andre died of heart failure in 1993, likely linked to his wrestling career. What's really sad is that he was only 46. Anyway, here are a few clips of him fighting in the WWE so you can see how insanely big he was. 8. Brahem Takila. This is another guy diagnosed with gigantism, and his massive size is crazy enough on its own. But what's really interesting about Brahem is that he holds a specific world record, having the world's biggest feet. His feet are 1 foot and 3 inches long, which is taller than the world's shortest woman. This guy is from Morocco and used to get bullied all the time for his big feet and massive height. But now he's a celebrity and actor, having appeared in a few Bollywood movies. Remember how I mentioned the world's smallest woman earlier? Brahem is actually really good friends with her. Even though they're so different, I guess opposites really do attract. Anyway, here's a video clip of Brahem so you can see how giant he really is. 7. Sultan Ci. This guy is really special because he's currently the tallest person alive right now. He's 251 centimeters tall, or 8 feet and 3 inches, depending on the system you use. The reason he's so big is because of a tumor that messed up his hormones. His job isn't as interesting as the movie stars, ISIS fighters, or wrestlers. He's actually a farmer in Turkey, where he was born. He went into farming because of how big he is. He can carry loads of heavy stuff. He also couldn't fit into school buildings, so he didn't get an education. That's kind of messed up. I mean, it's not like he could help it. Anyway, here are a few video clips of Sultan. 6. Romario dos Alves. This guy's backstory might make you think he's kind of stupid, and to be honest, I totally agree. Unlike the other giants on this list, who didn't choose to be giants, this guy kind of did. He basically injected a fluid into his arms to make them absolutely huge. What's the scientific fluid he used? Oil and alcohol. Yeah, this guy may as well have gone to McDonald's and injected their oil straight into his arms. The reason he did this was to be the world's biggest bodybuilder. But instead of being the biggest, he might just be the roundest. If you're wondering why I call this guy an idiot, it's because he almost died injecting that fluid, and some of his friends actually did. Romario is badly bullied by kids in his neighborhood in Brazil, who call him a beast and a monster. I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely doesn't look normal. Here's a before and after photo showing what oil and alcohol did to him. Welcome to the 21st century, Hafr Julius Bjornsson. This guy is super famous, and if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, you'll probably recognize him. Hafr, from Iceland, is a professional strongman, basketball player, and actor. This guy has a lot of talents. His nickname is the Mountain, not just because he's from Iceland, but also because he's a giant. He weighs almost 450 pounds and is nearly 7 feet tall. What's really interesting about Hafr is that even though he was tall when he was younger, he wasn't always that big. Here's a photo of him when he was younger, playing basketball. You can see how much he's transformed over the years. Now, here's a photo of him with his wife. His shopping bag looks almost as big as her. If you're curious about his strength, here are a few clips showing how insanely powerful this guy really is. Denis Sinkov. Denis Sinkov is a giant from Ukraine who holds a unique world record. He has the world's biggest hands. His wrists are 9.5 inches thick, which is insane. Denis wasn't always massive, but when he was a kid, he started joining sports clubs and even did wrestling. Now, at 32, Denis is around 6 feet 1 inch tall and weighs over 300 pounds. His biceps measure an astonishing 25 inches, making them the largest in Ukraine and Russia. He's also one of the best arm wrestlers in the world, and it's easy to see why. This guy could destroy someone's hand just by holding it. There's even a video of him breaking walnuts with his bare hands. Here's a clip to show you just how crazy this guy's strength is. Orlandoo Duza. Orlandoo, like Romario dos Santos Alves, is from Brazil and also injected oil and alcohol into his arms to make them massive. However, Orlandoo took it even further and now has 29-inch biceps, the biggest in the world. A lot of his friends have died from doing the same thing, but Orlandoo still thought it was worth the risk. For him, having freakishly large arms was more important than living a long life. He says he was inspired by Arnold Schwarzenegger after watching his movies as a kid. But while Arnold may have taken steroids, I doubt he ever injected McDonald's cooking oil into his arms. Here's a clip of Orlandoo, so you can see how freakishly large his arms really are. Yao Ming. Yao Ming is another giant who turned his gigantism into an advantage. He became a professional basketball player and is incredibly famous, especially in China. Yao played for the Shanghai Sharks, the best basketball team in China, and even joined the NBA, playing for the Houston Rockets for 9 years. He's 7 feet 6 inches tall and weighed nearly 350 pounds during his career. Despite his weight, he wasn't fat. It was all because he was so tall. Here are a few clips of Yao in action during his NBA career. Fus Uple. Last on the list is Fus Uple, who was India's tallest man. Fus stood an incredible 8 feet 2 inches tall. Unfortunately, despite his desire to be recognized, the Guinness World Records never measured him. His height made life very difficult. He couldn't drive or ride in cars because he was too tall, and he had to buy the apartment above his own just so he could stand upright at home. Sadly, Vikas passed away in 2007 during a botched operation to remove a brain tumor. This wasn't related to his gigantism but was still a tragic loss. Thanks for watching! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more amazing content.